Hello! Welcome to the last week of MUNDO MONDAY'S MONSTER MONTH! Today we're going to talk about creating a monster. Throughout human history, people have told stories about human beings who somehow learn how to create life. But because humans are imperfect, their creations get out of their control. One of the most famous of such stories is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, widely regarded as the very first science fiction novel, though she originally wrote it to win a horror story contest. In this story, a mad scientist builds a person out of used parts. But when Dr. Frankenstein rejects the monster, it becomes so angry it rampages out of control. This theme repeats in other stories about the robot revolution, or trying to make a zoo out of recreated dinosaurs who then eat everybody. But the stories go much further back, to the beginning of creation, or at least to the stories people have told about the creation of humans. In the stories of many cultures around the world, the Creator made humans out of mud or clay, and then breathed life into them. Now, humans can shape a creature out of clay, but they can't bring it to life. Or can they? What if a human discovered the divine secret to sparking life? And that brings us to the monster of the week, the golem.
Are golems monsters? In the video game Minecraft, golems are used to protect the villages.
Exactly! This is why the Golem of Prague was created. To protect the Jewish people of Prague in what is now the Czech Republic from being attacked by people who hated them for their religion. The word golem is an ancient Hebrew word that simply means unfinished, the raw material that needed the divine spark to come alive. In some stories, a rabbi trained in mysticism could carve a holy word into the clay of the golem, and that would bring it to life. If they used the word emet, which means truth, they could simply erase the first letter, making the word for death, to turn the golem to clay again. The key is being able to control the golem. It's only a monster if it gets out of control.
This is the story of the Golem of Prague, the most famous golem story. The Golem, a Jewish legend, retold and illustrated by Beverly, Brodsky, McDermott. March winds moaned while the people of Prague slept. Doors and shutters were fastened against the night, and gates that kept the Jews in their ghetto were locked tightly. As they all live in that village, the rest of the city didn't want them living all mixed in with them. They live in their own ghetto. That's where they got the word. Inside the thick walls lived the beloved Rabbi Yehuda ben Bezalel. He was pious and wise, a learned man. Every day he studied the holy books and prayed with his people. It was said that he could perform miracles. One evening, Rabbi Lev heard a mysterious voice. He told his wife, Rivka, "In my dream, people accused us of baking our matzos with the blood of Christian children. An angry mob attacked the ghetto and killed our people." Rivka's face grew white with fear. She had hoped this year would bring a happy Passover festival. "Oh, surely we are safe," she protested. "There's been no trouble for the Jews of Prague for a long time." But Rabbi Lev was convinced that the dream was a sign. "I will mold a clay man to protect us." The next day, Rabbi Love prayed for many hours. In the evening, he summoned two of his pupils, Isaac and Jacob. "We will go to the synagogue," he told them. "We must perform a duty to help our people." The streets were silent and empty. The cold light of the moon melted into the alleyways and lit the path for the three men. They climbed the stairs that led to the attic. There, under ancient prayer books, lay a shapeless lump of clay. Rabbi Love spoke calmly to his pupils. "We must use our magic to raise the golem," he said. "I have been commanded by God." They circled the lump of clay and chanted the secret names with which heaven and earth were created. Rabbi Love then molded the clay. Suddenly, orange flames glowed and scorched the ceiling. Water flowed and extinguished the fire. Steam rose and fogged the windows. "Look!" cried Isaac. "A man is made." "Oh," said Jacob, "he sprouts hair and nails. He opens his mouth, but he cannot speak." "Yes," said Rabbi Love, "I can create the likeness of a man, but only God can give him the gift of speech. The golem will remain mute." The rabbi stretched himself over the golem and gave him the breath of life. The golem's eyes opened wide. His memory awakened. There had been another time and another rabbi, long ago. The rabbi placed the name of God in the golem's mouth on pieces of paper. Daylight flooded the attic, and 4 men descended the narrow stairway. "One man is made out of clay." Rabbi Love was well satisfied with his work. He thanked God for peace. The golem would guard the ghetto day and night and warn him of any trouble. As the days passed, the golem became a familiar presence everywhere. He often went to the synagogue and heard the songs of the people. Every Sabbath, he visited each house in the ghetto and lit the hearth fires. He watched over the preparations for the Seder, the Passover feast that celebrates the time long ago when God helped Moses free the Jews who were slaves in Egypt. He went out beyond the gates, moved silently among the Gentiles. On the afternoon of Passover Eve, he saw a crowd gathered in the marketplace. A man spoke angrily. "We work our fingers to the bone," he said, "yet we have nothing to show for it. Our crops rot in the fields. We cannot harvest enough to last the winter." Then he pointed toward the ghetto. "There's the cause," he shouted. "The Jews are a plague on our lives. At this very moment they make ready for a feast where they will eat bread made with the blood of our children." Can you believe it? He's spreading those angry lies just like the rabbi dreamed he would. The golem watched as the crowd lost their reason. One by one they shouted, "Kill the Jews! Kill the Jews!" They armed themselves with torches and clubs and headed for the ghetto. There they go. They're angry. Would you be scared? I'd be scared. But what's the golem for? This. They opened the gates and burned the houses. But the golem grew into a giant. He raised his arm and with one powerful blow crushed the angry mob. The house of judgment shook and the light went out of the sky. The golem did not stop. He leveled houses. He pulled up trees. He curled enormous rocks. Rabbi Lev saw the darkness and the fire. Alarmed, he ran through the streets, following the scorched earth that was the path of the golem. "God in heaven, what imperfect thing have I created?" he cried aloud. He found the golem tearing down walls. "Stop! Stop! Return to your dust!" the rabbi commanded. The golem looked at his master. His mouth opened wide, and the name of God tumbled forth. The golem crumbled. Carefully, the rabbi gathered up what little remained of the golem and looked in sorrow at the heavens. With a heavy heart, he returned to the synagogue. Rabbi Love stood in the darkness of the attic. Deep in thought, he placed the sacred clay once more beneath the holy prayer books. The end. Or is it?
I noticed something. In the beginning of the story, the golem was welcomed and got to learn peacefully in the synagogue with all the people. In the story of Frankenstein, the monster got thrown out and was hated by everyone it met, and it quickly became violent. But the golem started fighting at first only to protect the people who had shown it love. It got more out of control and violent the more anger and hate it was exposed to in the battles.
That's a good point. Being a monster doesn't have anything to do with what you look like or what you're made of. That's just a golem, the raw material. It only becomes a monster if you fill it with hate instead of love.
Well, that's it for Mundo Monday's Monster Month. Remember to fill everything you do with love, and then we won't have to worry about monsters anymore. Bye!
As opposed to Golem, who is a different character altogether.